Well, I tell you, I was looking over. Well, we'll tell you this in the history of the hymns, what I'm trying to do might or might not be accomplishing the goal, but I'm trying to kind of go back and forth between hymns we've never heard, but we should have heard, and hymns that we know by heart. And so I hope we're accomplishing that. And you're finding some hymns you know and like, but page 55 in our hymnals where we'll be. And when I was reading this and studying about this man and about this hymn, you know, probably none of us have ever heard the name James Milton or James M. Black. I sure hadn't heard it. But I think when I get to heaven, he and I will sit down and chat a little while because, well, he and I have just a few things in common. Writing hymns is not one of them with me. But see, he was a Sunday school teacher in his day and a song leader in his church. And if I can think of one word to describe him, it'd have to be heart. Heart. And I think you'll agree when I tell you all about it. But when the roll is called up yonder was written in 1893, one of the most popular Christian hymns of all time. It was inspired by the idea of the book of life mentioned in the scripture and by the absence of a child in black Sunday school class when the attendance was taken. You know how they take roll in the Sunday school, or they used to anyway, and I'm sure Brother Dean does now. In the book, Then Sings My Soul, 150 of the greatest hymn stories written by Robert J. Morgan, that Pastor loaned to me, lists this youngster's name as Bessie. And little Bessie's dad was an alcoholic, so you can imagine what the home might have been like with that going on. So Mr. Black, their Sunday school teacher, visited the home and even called on a doctor to attend to her for pneumonia. He went home to write the song after not finding one of a similar topic in his entire hymn collection of a theme like this. The song's lyrics were first published in a collection titled Songs of the Soul, and the song has been translated into at least 14 languages and sung all over the world in a variety of churches. More than 500 versions of this song is out there today, and I thought that. And you know, Mr. Black, you know what he was thinking? I was just writing there for a little Bessie. Isn't that something? And how the Lord used this song. Here's a historical note you might find interesting. In 1945, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill created a stir in the British press when he quoted the hymn in response to a question about the Big Three. That was the three allies in World War II. We're going to meet. This was stated in the Winnipeg Free Press. Mr. Churchill, in one of his somewhat strange little moods, replied that he did not know when he'd meet, but he added irreverently, when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Now that was a bit ironic because Mr. Churchill was an Anglican, which is kind of a religion associated with the Church of England, which is sort of kind of Catholicism. So everyone was taken aback when he was quoting this hymn, which is more or less in its origin associated with Protestants and Baptists. But anyway, the other chapel denominations or the revival meetings of Dwight L. Moody, Ira D. Sankey, or R.A. Torrey, and Charles McCallan Alexander speculated that Churchill might have heard the catchy tune, I love this, in a street meeting held by the Salvation Army. Do you know why the Salvation Army is called the Salvation Army? It was founded by a Christian man. And he found that there were people who needed food, so he would invite them in. But while they were having their food, they would have a message and present the gospel. So the Salvation Army was named by the name of what you're thinking. That's salvation in Jesus Christ. Think about that, the Salvation Army affecting Churchill, the leader of Great Britain, based on a hymn written by a lowly Sunday school teacher back in the late 1800s. Hey, can I say to you, There's some kind of music in you too. It might not be music or singing. That music could be a metaphor for a talent or a gift or something like that. We never know what we do, what the Lord will do with it. So as you sing this song, think about its history. Think about the fact that if you're born again, someday the Lord's going to call our name in glory. And we're going to say, here, here, here. I'll let you remain seated, but page 55, let's sing it from the heart, all three stanzas. When the roll is called up yonder. When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and time shall be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair. When the saved of earth shall gather over on the other shore, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. On that bright and cloudless morning, when the dead in Christ shall rise, and the glory of his resurrection share, when his chosen ones shall gather to their home beyond the sky, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. Let us labor for the Master from the dawn till setting sun. Let us talk of all his wondrous love and care. Then when all of life is over and our work on earth is done, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there.